from more than 7 minutes to less than 1 minute, yielding over 6 minutes per call that the staff can instead apply to patient care. So that metric, that was measured several years ago. And I'm wondering, has the hospital improved on that metric, or do they continue to measure anything? Do you know?
Well, I know that one particularly was at Franklin Woods, and when I asked our Vocera person at our hospital if we have done that recently, she said no, not that she could remember. But there are times when we have reviewed our Vocera logs, like she'll run reports for us. Mm-hmm. So let's say, for instance, we have a patient complaint, and they complain that the nurses never answered their call lines or never were in their, whatever reason. We can run those Vocera logs, those reports, and actually see how quickly the nurse answers their calls, they ignore it, et cetera. So those kinds of things. So we've looked and, ran reports to help us look at improving response time. So we didn't actually have a metric that we followed consistently, if that makes sense.
Uh-huh.
But, when they first opened the hospital, she believed that they did, they did some tack times, they tracked some of that, but we haven't done that specifically in quite a while. Just because it's we never had issues with it, so we've never really tracked it again.
Well, that is a good answer in itself.
Yeah.
So the next one is, I'm really interested in hearing about your nurse call system integration, because based on how long ago you did this, it seems like you were pretty pioneering.
Yeah.
So Franklin Woods West Call system integrates with the Vocera platform. When a patient pushes the West Call Nurse Call button, it goes directly to the nurse's Vocera badge, permitting immediate communication between the patient and nurse. In January 2011, emergency department staff received 550 calls using the nurse call Vocera integration with an average response time of 1 minute 7 seconds. And I was wondering, were you part of the decision to integrate the nurse call system with the Vocera platform? And do you recall what the response times were like before the integration?
I don't, because when I was involved in the rollout in Johnson City, we did not initially link it to our West Call system. We later did, but we didn't when we first went live with the Vocera device. At Johnson Memorial, where I'm at now, because it was a new hospital, just like Franklin Woods was, they did all of it together all at once. But I do know at the old hospital, they already had some type of device that kind of tracked nursing, I guess, in a way. And so when they built the new hospital and they knew they were going to be going to the West Call light system, that also has this other tracking system. It's a little bug. We call it a bug, but it's not a bug. It's a monitor that they put in their pocket. And it also works with the Vocera. It's in the call light system. It's kind of all intertwined. But that if they walk into that room and that call light is gone off and they have that bug in their pocket, it cuts the call light off as well. So there's a whole other piece that we have at JMH, which is kind of neat. So I know that's one reason, because they already had some tracking system with this little bug. They wanted to make the Vocera and the West Call work together, because they had another piece with that West Call, if that makes sense.
Are you? Go ahead. Sorry. Keep talking.
Oh, go ahead.
Are you saying that this little bug, it almost sounds like it's sort of it might be related to a real-time location system. It sounds like it's trying to prevent the nurse from getting duplicate alarms. Is that right?
Yes, kind of. Honestly, to be completely transparent, some that work, some that doesn't. The big thing is it doesn't work if the user isn't friendly, or if the user doesn't work it right. The nurses have to log into that West Call system every day and assign themselves to the rooms that they have. So that way the Sonitor and the Vocera and all that works together with that call out system is how it works. The nurse has to be assigned to that room. If they're not assigned to that room, then it doesn't talk to that particular nurse on that Vocera or that little tracking bug. And that's what, over the years, I've seen when we go out and we audit it, see if the nurses are assigned. Most of them they're not. And And they're like, well, I wondered why I didn't know when my patient's call light went off. I said, because you didn't assign yourself. So that sometimes that's a challenge sometimes, because then you have to remember to sign yourself out, because then the next nurse has to sign themselves in, and you could have got missed calls when you were there and you were off duty for 3 days, and so it's just them remembering to do that, because they forget. That's probably one thing in complete transparency that they forget to do sometimes. But it all works together. So when that call light goes off and it goes into your Vocera, you might be downstairs on another hall, another room, or whatever. You can respond to them more timely. The one thing we have done as well is with the Vocera, it's not only, we don't have it going directly to the nurse first. We have it going, the call light going to our unlicensed team members, like the CNA. And then if the CNA is unable to answer that call light timely, then it goes to the RN that's assigned to that room. So we kind of have that tiered call system. Yeah, because lots of times that CNA can get in there faster than the nurse can.
Okay. Now, and I didn't put this question down, but I'm wondering, like, how do nurses feel about having patients be able to, like, connect with them directly? Do they feel... I guess that escalation path you just described probably helps take care of it. But I was wondering if they felt like over available.
No, there's some that love it, and there's some that don't like it. I think the majority of them, though, are fine with it. I think this day and age in nursing, there are a lot of patients who probably press that call out for things they should be pressing that call out for, and causes a lot of just extra abundance that doesn't need to happen. And that's why the nurses that do, I guess, don't like it as much, because of those reasons. But I'm like, but if you're addressing the needs of your patient while you're in the room with them, they won't be pressing that call out anyway. So
yeah.
you address the needs of your patient.
Maybe I won't put that in there.
No, you don't have to put that in there. That's kind of one of the things I'm going, it's a tool for you to get to your patient timely. So if you're getting tons of calls, there might be other issues going on. But you have some that love it, some that hate it, some that are just like, yeah, this is great. It's part of my job, because your patients need to have access to you.
Well, I'm kind of getting down to the end of the question. So one I had here is, can you think of a situation or a story in which you saw or heard of a nurse or a unit respond swiftly and effectively to enable patient-centered care with the Vocera system where they wouldn't have been able to do it in the past?
Yes. The one thing that immediately came to mind when I read that question is because we have set up so many different groups on our Vocera. I had mentioned earlier, like the Code Blue group, the Rapid Response group. We also, over the years, have set up like a stroke alert. And so, most strokes come through the emergency department by front door, by EMS, but you can, every once in a while, have a stroke that literally happens while the patient's in the hospital on the floor. So we had a nurse who was assessing her patient and noticed that her patient was having a stroke real time, right then and there. And because we have that stroke alert on the Vocera, she could have her Vocera and say, call stroke alert. And when she did, she had the resources she needed immediately to help her with that patient who was actively having a stroke. So you had an ICU nurse come, you had an ED nurse come. The CT tech got the CT scanner ready to do the scan on the patient. ICU had a bed ready in case it's a true stroke. All those types of things happen with those group alerts that we work on. And I love group alerts. I just love them, and that's one reason why. If it had been in the hospital without Vocera, she would have to go out to the desk or press a call out, yell for help, ask somebody to call a doctor. So it gets resources to the nurses faster for some of those critical things that can happen real time with your patients.
That's a great story, and I hope it had a good outcome.
She was having a stroke. She did, yes. She was having a stroke, and she did well. And she was having a true, there's mini strokes, false strokes, those kind of things, it's true hemorrhagic strokes. She was having one, and she had a great outcome.
I'm so glad. Wow.